AI is coming for 20% of insurance agents this year, and most agents don't even know this is happening. I run automation and lead generation for insurance agencies. I've seen what the top producers are doing differently, and there's one thing separating the agents that are going to scale from the ones that are going to get replaced by a $20 per month AI subscription. Stay with me because I'm going to show you the tasks that most agents are doing manually and why AI does it 99% faster. So this is the great insurance agent split of 2026, as evidenced by this diagram. This year is really going to come down to the transactional agent versus the advisory agent. Before we get into what either of these is about, let's get into the fact that 22% of insurers are going to be deploying agentic AI by the end of 2026. We've already seen AI discussed everywhere, and not just in other industries, but also in insurance. We've seen it at 8% Nation. We've seen AI platforms for insurance popping up, so this isn't just another shiny object that's going to get lost. No, it's going to be something that will displace 10 to 20% of agents. And so with that cleared out of the way, let's get into what the transactional agent is. Now, as you can tell here, the transactional agent probably not the best position to be in as one, because the tasks being automated here are going to range from quoting and policy comparisons, and big insurers are really one step away from adding things like chatbots or AI-powered personalization in terms of quoting and policies. Then we're going to have data entry and form processing. There really is nothing glorious about this. It's not exactly high leverage, and at this point, if AI can build the world's first billion-dollar company. Moving on, we're going to have claims as well as settlement. Now, this won't be fully automated because filing for claims is still a multi-step process, but most, if not all, of the tasks on the side of the agent that's going to be handling the claim will likely be automated, because if there's one thing AI is good for, is taking a lot of pieces of information, analyzing them, creating reports, doing all of that. After that, we're going to have lead scoring as well as timing predictions. Now, you can already pretty much automate your entire CRM at this point. It's really no question. You can actually set up AI workflows that extract the transcripts from your calls with leads, analyze what went on in the call, locate the lead in your CRM, and automatically update their tags, their status, whatever it may be. And if it's able to have access to those transcripts and make decisions on when to follow up, it's obviously going to be able to score those leads and predict timing. So if this does sound a bit scary, that's probably because it really is. And if you're a business or agency owner and you've lately been feeling as if you're falling behind, you can actually schedule a free one-on-one consultation with me using the first calendar link in the description. At this point, we've driven AI-powered transformation in various insurance businesses and financial firms, so if that sounds like something relevant, grab your spot because we only open up 3 of them per video, and I look forward to chatting. And so to give you an idea of how exactly AI is replacing them, we can see here, we have AI quoting engines. So as I mentioned before, we already have some self-service portals, so AI quoting and policy comparison engines are just one step away. It's 99% faster, oftentimes just quote to bind. Moving on, we have NLP powered call centers and data operations. AI is able to have full call centers and automate a lot of the pain associated with data operations. And I don't have too much conviction in this last point becoming a realistic thing just yet, but many big insurance players are exploring claim settlement with AI agents. And so inevitably, the result of this is going to be 10 to 20% of people displaced. And of course, when just so many people are going to be displaced, the entire insurance space will undergo a massive change. So I wouldn't even be surprised if fully transactional people are going to get replaced. And even hybrid agents, which are essentially going to be a mix of transactional as well as advisory agents and agencies, are going to be at risk. Because if we think about it, so when an agent or an agency is leaning into advisory for only half of the time in comparison to an agent or agency that's fully dedicated to advisory, they're going to be 2 times less efficient. However, at the moment, what we're seeing here is that many agents are actually hybrid, which I think is overall a positive trend. I think by the end of this year, and we still have roughly 7 months to go as of the time of me recording this video, we are going to see many people go from the sinking ship to being a hybrid agent, and the people who were already hybrid agents and agencies are going to switch to advisory. And so it's nice that we've explored why the transactional agent and agency has been affected in that sort of way. Now let's move on to the advisory agent, where the real winners of the insurance space are going to emerge. So as an advisory agent, fundamentally, the tasks that you're keeping are going to be complex coverage negotiations. So product knowledge is non-negotiable. Knowing which product to recommend to others is very important, because you can't resolve everything with the self-service portal. You can do this with some of the more simple types of policies, but you cannot do this with something more complex and nuanced, where coverage and product knowledge are just so important. Of course, when we think of a financial advisor or just somebody else who's advising us or just giving us advice, we think of them as helpful figures that are helping us out with our finances and really whatever may be at hand here. Which is exactly why empathy and trust building with clients is going to become a core part of this. Now, trust building with clients is also going to tie into having a personal brand, which is another way to distinguish yourself. And having a personal brand as an agent basically means having some sort of unique identity where you're able to be recognized. And this doesn't only come through content. You can also build up a very great reputation through referral partner relationship management. And this is one of the main things we do. As buying leads has become worse and worse over time, referral partner relationship management and also actually finding those referral partners is probably one of the highest ROI lead generation channels for agents. And I've actually broken this down in one of my past videos where we built a $1.1 million referral partner pipeline for a PNC agency. You can check out that video somewhere up here. An advisory agent is going to need to handle high value retention conversations because a big part of insurance is not only signing more policies, but it's actually retaining those policies. Getting 1,000 policies might seem great, but if 10, 20, 30% of those people are churning, there is really something to fix. And usually the biggest issue is just people not being followed up with or called before the renewal date, which is exactly what causes that churn. And if we take a look at the AI tools those people are going to use, it's going to be nothing like what the transactional agent uses. Many of these tools are actually going to be exactly what is displacing or replacing those transactional agents. Some common systems that we've seen and actually implemented for different agencies are going to include the AI CRM manager. So like I was speaking about, you can have a fully compliant AI workflow that gets the transcript from your calls and your appointments, allowing you to get more advice, which can then use the transcript to update the status of the leads, apply tags to them, add in details about them. And what this translates to is that you're not rushing to close the person. What this allows you to do is have more advisory and closing time, because if you're not rushing for the close, knowing that you have to update the CRM and do a bunch of other stuff after the call, then you're genuinely able to show the prospect that you care about them and by consequence likely improve your close rate. Next up, we're going to have automated referral partner generation. So this says faster closes, but realistically the main benefit of this is just having more leads. This is really what it's about. If you're able to automate the referral partner generation, you can get more leads that are also warmer and more high intent just because they're being referred to you by someone like a loan officer or a real estate agent if you're in PNC, or a financial advisor if you're into life insurance. And so if you would like to automate your referral partner generation, just like we did for that PNC brokerage, which added roughly $90,000 in premium per month, feel free to book a one-on-one consultation using the first link below. Our guarantee is that if we don't get you 10 booked high intent meetings with referral partners, then our service is fully free and you don't pay anything. And like I said, we only open up around 3 spots per video, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to grab your spot now. And finally, we're going to have AI follow-up plus renewal reminders. This is exactly what I was just speaking about a few minutes ago here. Renewal reminders go a long way. You're able to get 0 lost leads with follow-up and renewal reminders. The reason for this is that if you have a renewal reminder created for you automatically to prevent churn, as well as AI follow-up until you set an appointment where the person opts out or says they're not interested, you're basically taking advantage of every single opportunity you have in a good way. And this works across all channels, whether it's SMS, whether it's email, whether it's through the phone. There's really no barrier to this. And so finally, with this in mind, these people are going to survive. And not only are they going to survive, they're going to thrive and they're also going to scale, which is why advisory is going to be the exact thing that scales and wins this year and the years moving forward. So if this breakdown and comparison between the transactional agent and the advisory agent was helpful, I'm truly glad it was. And if you enjoyed this one, feel free to comment on what you would like to see in the future. Otherwise, I wish you a nice rest of your week. Keep crushing it and keep selling more policies, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.